They're isolating the market. That's really what it is.
Yeah. Just like what Trump wants to put tariffs on all electric vehicles except for Teslas. Like it's all literally just game so that one Trump donor, one special interest can make a killing. And there's somebody in the comments, Selfish, who's been talking about Republican strategy is just to let liberals talk or let us talk. That's why you guys always mute us. That's the thing. You don't want us to talk. That's why Trump didn't want to have a second debate with Kamala, because he lost both debates. He might have won on energy against Biden, but you guys have to silence us because you don't want to have real discussions.
The issue is also that the Republicans have kind of they've stolen the narrative. Like they say Biden was so bad. Here's all the reasons why he's so bad. And then you just scratch just the bare surface and it's not even true.
The borders were open.
Like I forgot exactly what it was, but like unemployment dropped significantly, jobs grew, the economy grew, the GDP grew, and they're saying that Biden did the exact opposite, which is so far from reality.
Yeah, no, I think we see it on TikTok. The real issue is we're not going to debate these people. We're not going to show them the light. We have to deprogram them. And that is the big question. How do we deprogram people who have literally aligned their whole personality, their whole being with this nonsense? We see it on TikTok all the time.
I agree. And it's interesting because like I'm German, and in Germany we have this culture of hyper acknowledging our history and our mistakes in the past, right? And I find that is sorely lacking in North America, Canada as well. I mean, like we obviously like we do things like acknowledge the indigenous and like all the res schools and stuff like that, but like America has a history of fascism. There was a fascist party in America, but we don't acknowledge that. We don't acknowledge the Confederacy was all about slavery anyways. Like that was their credo, right? That was their credo. But no, it's a cultural thing. It's states' rights. This and this and this and this. It's always excuses why we can go back to a more primitive social standard.
Yes. That's the thing. It's not just politics. This didn't start 10, 20, 30 years ago. We go back to the Civil War, Reconstruction. We gave the slave owners reparations. We let the South literally rise again. We did not punish them. We did not have a full and complete war against them. We stopped General Sherman. So we have never really ever tried to extinguish white supremacy from our country, even post World War II. We're fighting fascism over there. Germany learned from what happened. They're strict about it. We still allow the KKK and all these groups to run around like it's freedom of speech. So, right, America has never had its final battle against white supremacy and these people who have wanted to destroy us for hundreds of years. And now we're still fighting this war.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting when you talk about freedom of speech, like in America compared to in other countries of the world. So in Germany, like you said, they're very strict on anything pro Yahtzee, right? You can go to jail if you wear. I think someone got either jail or severely fined, either way punished for wearing a shirt that said University of Auschwitz, right? So. And it's because it calls back to a very dark past. And I don't see that as an infringement on your speech. You should just not say shit like that.
And I've always hate speech is not freedom of speech, because hate speech is incitement. Like if you call me a slur, you're trying to dehumanize me so that it's easier to unalive me. Like when you dehumanize trans people, that's a step on a path to unaliving them. So no, you spreading hate and ignorance, which is based on lies and stuff that we know anyway, that's not your freedom of speech. That's like a death threat. You're inciting violence against me, whether you do it or not, because there's a lot of people, and we see the fruition of this in our schools. I'm from Wisconsin. I live in Madtown, Madison, Wisconsin. Your fave DJ all day, every day, Madtown's favorite. The Abundant Life Christian mass pew-pewing was right in my city. I knew people that knew the mom. I knew people that worked there. This young girl was indoctrinated by right-wing extremism. And then there's I don't know if anybody knows the story. I mean, there's so many nowadays. There was also a shooting in a pew-pewing in Tennessee that this girl was friends with this young black man who had embraced schmatzyism and hated himself. So he did this at his school, and now they're finding a third party out in California, an adult, a grown adult. He's 24. These kids were teenagers who was in contact with this girl who was radicalizing her. So when you're talking, that's not free speech. And now we've never seen a mass pew-pewer that had Joe Biden quotes written on his pew-pew machine. We have seen Trumpers, but yet supposedly BLM is the T group, or Antifa, which barely even exists. We have to take back the narrative and stop entertaining these lies that they tell us.
I also find it very interesting how they call themselves the real patriots when, you know, as a Canadian, my understanding of American patriotism was a respect and the upholding of the Constitution, right? And in that interview where he says, "Oh, I don't know if we actually have to hold up the interview. I'd have to talk to my lawyers," right? I was listening in on a live, and this guy was saying, I don't know if you've seen him, Enzo, but he was saying how he was saying, it was like, "Oh, what's the problem? He just deferred to his lawyers." I'm like, no, it should be a pretty easy yes. Like, he should uphold the Constitution. It should not be, "Oh, let me check with my lawyers."
Because he stands for nothing, and that's the other thing. He can't take a stance because he has to go check with whether it's Putin or Adelson or whatever think group or whoever, Steve Bannon, whatever cabal of evil, gross people is pulling the strings on Trump. He has to check with them because he's just a puppet. He doesn't know what, because he doesn't want to contradict himself. But they don't care, and it's the same with the Patriot. Everything they say is so false. It's so fake. You know, they want to control and act like everything's theirs. It's terrible. You know, call a lie a lie. Don't, stay woke. And thankful up in Canada, you guys, that's the other thing. Other countries are kind of dabbling in what we're doing, but then they see it and they're like, no. Like Canada was like, no, we're good on the far right stuff. Like if you look at most of the global elections that took place, everyone went to the left because they see what Trump's doing. So the bottom line is, Republicans want to, and I see the guy in the comments talking about flag burning, bro. That's a piece of a fabric that doesn't hurt anybody. That's why people serve, so you have that right. Like no one cares about a piece of cloth when we got people in the streets who can't afford their medication, child poverty. Like no one cares about your little deflection issue.
People like that would rather see someone get shot than see a flag burn. Like it's ridiculous. It's not the same.
They just want, these are weak people who have no knowledge of self. They have no real culture. They have nothing but Trump and his hateful energy to try and make themselves feel powerful. And
yeah, no, and I agree. But like the problem is also on our side of the discussion is that we're having these conversations. We're talking about how terrible it is, but like we don't really enact any like change ourselves, and we need to get better at actually like not physically fighting, but somehow enacting that change, right? Because like I see a lot of people like, oh, I'm going to leave the country if this happens, if that happens, right? It's like, okay, you're going to leave the country because some nerd decided that he's going to slash education.
Yeah, I'm definitely not leave. Like my people built this country. We're still owed reparations. I'm not leaving shit, right?
That's it.
Yeah, the left does need to. I think I call it academic. Like the left is acting like they're still in their college debate club, and that afterwards they're going to go get beers with the opposition, whereas Republicans are part of a global effort to make billionaires rich and screw everybody else. The left does need to take the gloves off. And they just need to start calling Trump out. Like they need to do it so much that the right wing, it's like I can't remember her name. I'm a big fan of her. She's the one always talking about shit about Trump. And she's getting, is it Coretta? I can't remember. Anyway, But it's like everyone should be doing that. Let's keep the same energy. And if they think we're whatever, then fine. Because, and that's the thing. If someone's full of shit, just say you're full of shit. Like, stop letting people platform lies. I think a lot of it, there's a lot of intelligent people on here that, whether they're lefts, whatever, who spend time and energy breaking down facts, going deep into detail, and they're wasting their time. It's like, if anything, you should be speaking to maybe the younger generation that's still on the fence, or someone. Jasmine Crockett, thank you. Yes, Jasmine Crockett. I was about to say Coretta. Yeah, we need a Joe Rogan. I volunteer to be the left side Joe Rogan. Give me the millions of dollars. I'll talk shit. I'll actually have some truth behind it.